akyɛw pa ne saa nyoma no bebree ɛne ɛsɛ wokɔyɛ research bi nso research no nso kyerɛkyerɛ nyoma bi a ɛma MPP mo weyɛ paa honorable mo weyɛ paa nti kyerɛkyerɛ mu because yɛde ɛpɛ kɔnkɔnsa na adi deɛ wokɔyɛ no Ghana force sɛn deɛ nti na ɛma mo MP for mo weyɛ ka kyerɛ me
okay deɛ ka me nwa ndase deɛ tie ne sɛ mra mami kyerɛ the genesis of we no sɛ deɛ be put in common in contest sɛ yɛwie yɛ na yɛbobo ho party no spɛte yɛ apɛ microcue committee sɛ ɔmo nhwɛ deɛ yɛ party no lusu yɛ no na yɛmu bi no yɛhwɛ approach na ɔmo lusu no a na yɛfo sɛ nneɛma baako mmienu bi wɔ hɔ a as a research scientist no obroni sɛ methodology so kwan a wofa so agye data no na me feel sɛ bibi kakra akram sɛbe okɔ election na ulusu a na wopɛ sɛ wohu denti a ɛbaa yɛ a deɛ kan sɛ wohwɛ election na ankasa a mokɔto no data no ankasa so kyerɛ wo sɛ nipa 18 million na ɔmotwerɛ mu din sɛ ɔmokɔto aba no emu 11 point something million penny koto yes almost 6.8 million registered voters and to aba 80 upese uhu denti a lusu ya fa ne say nipa 11 million no emu 4 million akoto ama emu 6 million akoto ama NDC na idea na kire say 6 point something million no omoto aba no omo anto aba no ebi ankemu 4 million and 3 million and whatever to aba and can change the results it you better who didn't outcome na aba na ba and you will focus only on omo to aba to go around the party and ask party people say didn't near to aba didn't na mo for say lose and I say it yes arguments on our platforms and some MPs decided say Mommy Dr. MARFO can because he is arguing said almost 40% of registered voters and to aba. Edumadin wo hono say yensi from the nkohwehwe saa nipa na oman to aba no niemi some de nti oman to aba. I don't think say so could be a party for the entire lose here. And I say obi oto aba de oto aba de ono wato awie wa kire na adwen dodo natural say ye NDC at this time ye MPP. Enti ye say and ye focus on the party voters. And no the kofa research in the and I must make sure say okay, I know a team, I can gather a team of researchers. Me say omo researcher, omo research and your political research. You say your research be of agenda no I are setting the EP data they are supported but you want authentic scientific researcher my party for get people who are career researchers and that is what I facilitated yes I research and yes in something na the Bible can ye wa de nyina ho kwan ye ne nyina ne fatal enti no de year for public consumption for our general knowledge ye betimi adi ho komo some of the issues me feel say appropriate say ye de be ma parties
okay and
that's a nutshell
and boami issues no ba ko mienu bi a omo kan ye a eno ekuti amo asem bi before.
Okay, the general overview of the data, and they say, Nipa 6 point something million now amount to abano. Omo na ye new omo ye share omo. I mean through scientific whatever generated the data. Na nina no and they say out of the Nipa na to aba and to abano apathy voters. Omo ye from apathy voters. Out of that, emu be 70% at Abapen. Omoto abapeno. Omoto abapeno. Majority of them historically Omoto abama MPP. In fact, 63% of them Atuaba in the past. Emma MPP against NDC. About 36% of them and the Tuaba. And no, some of the people think say enka nipa umame Tuaba ni nyina be Tuaba enka MPP be win. But ye bita omo no the ba ye no say enhye da entisa Nentisa and say about 50% of the apathy voters say Senkomo to Abakra and Kombetwama NDC. It's about 40% and Omoka say Senkomo to Aba and Kombetwama NDC. Oh, yeah, computation projections now, it will tell you say the NDC would have still won the elections, even though the margin would have been small.
Nese one no man koto aba no mo target wo mu kobuso mu di nti o man to aba no omo ye o margin se nkometo aba kra na nkomo nto ma MPP o still o meto ama John Mahama
do about 49% can say even if they had voted they would have voted for the NDC.
Wow. Na say na no so meto ama MPP.
NPP was about 40%.
Interesting. Now, let's get to the nuance of the research. I see a hono. Impression being na unya we call grounds because we say we do research adada. But sometimes so we use quantitative data collection na. We share the nya ni nyina bi unless a qualitative bi e ka ho.
Exactly.
We use miss method apart from yes and no man ko fo cheche mu die ntia o mu so meto ama MPP na NDC ana.
Yes, ebisa apathy voters at the end one to about 2024. A narratives and omomae narratives not just say omo webium say onka onchiro. Enti you analyze the data no you say the major reason Emma Nipan to Abase say more to do with governance, followed by economy, followed by infrastructure, and then other reasons. Now, Mamini can't for the other reasons. Some of the other reasons, and yet so significant. A bit say may advantage in a moto abani Saturday, me yamisum over elections. And I say, "Na me home ID card." And I say, those reasons. Say, no, and yet protest reasons. Just circumstantial. Say, we could be baby meant to me. Me na me nika car me de be kwa baby am because through the no to aba and all that. So I say, 80. That one here the twin check. But the major reasons. And they say, na nipa dodo no issues of amamu perceived mistrusting politicians. Ebi mu kind of plain say me ma to aba man PP me to aba man NDC the omu nyina the same thing so people there's a growing sense of mistrust in political leaders. And we one and standard the perception of recalcitrance say be same way oka obianti oka say obianti and then they probably will be citing examples so as you see will be party for no crime party before say yen obia di monya racial for monye you see say monye so that sense of unresponsiveness, say people, the leadership is not responding to issues from the base. Party for Bimon so Kraka said we belong to parties for and then it looks like we are promising and all that. So if you put all those things together, it boils down to issues of accountability, issues of perceived sense of corruption. And I say whether it is true or not, that's a different conversation. But once they get the perception, in fact, there are people who often made reference to media. And one of our conclusions later was that media is critical. We a political party. Now one say media drives political agenda. Because in Nipa and Kasa, about 60% of them in their conversation make reference to media programs. Obit Mika say meeting and Ajan to our Nhyira FM. No Kasa, call Rwanda, Omo mining, Omunya say film, and I hear the Yenya say film, and Bahune say and penny for no. Whether Assembly or can or not is not the issue. But the point is that media, the thing or FDA are influencing the thoughts. Are leading to a political decision. And that's a decision to vote or not to vote. And that is media is great. And one of the major conclusions of the year. So the reason about let's say 43% or so attributed to governance. And about 40% was attributed to the economy. Basically, exchange rates, dollar, no money living. Majuma say, dollar, inflation. So all those narratives, pointed to that. Said the economic situation, hit hard on the people, and it led to them deciding, say, or move vote. And you will not be surprised because said America, and historically, 70% of these are party voters, which almost to about pen. It's almost naive, and yes, almost they have experience in voting, and that was an act of protest against the system.
Interesting.
And then probably the third major reason was which is about 10%, was about the infrastructure. So people were complaining about Takoradi roads, Kumasi, Accra roads, and those in Kumasi area were Ashanti region talking about interchange. Takoradi Force. Yabitu to Krumu ho, dividend and then Obi also our the community specific. Be a bridge there where I hear MP aka omo anyenti do about no mankoto. Meanwhile, the TN say omo yankan so omo ankoto aba no. Mekan say the medical can 63% of them had voted for MPP in the past. And reasons no more than mano and on a match actually. So the conclusion on that is that Ceciano voter no decision the soft optics are even more important and I say equally important to the bread and butter issues. So it's not only about economy, but the perception about leaders, say, Nipa Matu Abama no, Utia Sem, saying that O carry no, saying that Nihuno, say
Bian Kofoka, say Nana Kufuadu, why ye a hand time, or ma a him for sorry, Nessa Nyoma, and yes, I'm a So that's what I call the soft governance optics. And yet, the are affecting the pan economy, the personal economy, but perception of based on your cultural, the way Sebe Ghana for you see economy. Ye nipa obi anim say Ghana from pa hantai, Ghana from pe je, Ghana from pe leaders obey almost you can say uhune say o tieti ane so and I say or your car can be that kind of thing. And no be important. And now we were surprised that people were focusing on search for searches even more than infrastructure.
So you would expect that people will be talking about and I say but just the perception of governance issues about governance, are so critical. So what it means then is that political leader you must understand, say,
right,
the way you carry yourself and then you relate to the people, no. They say, and it's no longer about election. Why you be a sikaba to the way the people perceive you seems to be gaining a lot of roots. And Ghanaians are becoming more sensitive to your friend is governance issues, and of course, rightly so, because who said in America, about 60% of them in their narrative and making reference to specific media kind of programs. So, Obebo radio bidding and Obebo presenter bidding. Say, media me we are hard and miti Dano Krano, na say. So those references are made. In some, mechanics say the 2024 elections, a party nearby, largely now a protest driven.
Oh, okay.
By dissatisfaction with governance and the economic conditions.
All right.
Rather than logistical barriers. So BBC that was
interesting.
Now, so if you look at data, you will see say yes, about if they had voted in 2024. Because near Pessie who say, okay, historically, almost 7 out of 10 of you, historically, more to Obama MPP. Then this time round, and okay, assuming say you had the chance of voting, then how would your voting have been? And then, as I said, 39% said if they had a chance, they would have voted. If they were going to vote, they would have voted for the MPP. 49% said they would have still voted for the NDC.
Interesting.
And the others are about, let's say, 10%.
Enti, when you know Wabubo Bosuno, my first vice chairman of the MPP say, including Nono, I was said national executive na delegates no pamu munina the next elections no obia anko including Nono because Omari in new kind say omo per party nkom yo margin so almost stand biem o support the call say all the national executive yampa mu obia.
See I'm talking as a researcher and I won't make a categorical support, but the point is that if indeed people are blaming governance, if indeed governance was a major issue, then what it suggests is that the party failed in a way because party and the war bands and the abambia ne niema yo ebeshe omanfo bufu to the extent to say ebetumi ama nipa dodo aka se yenkoto aba anase omo omkoto yempo no akoto atia yen, especially when you compare to 2020 to 2024. Now here's almost you lost about 2 million votes. Then by extension, as I said, Obia betumi aka say there was a failure of the party because the party gives direction. Abai no there or name party no na long term interest. So me be a president now. Me wo 8 years. But MPP and NDC no there. E wo ho da enti no enti na abai bia no. Say NDC was ase edun ketia any your friend general secretary say NDC general secretary they will attend cabinet meetings. The purpose of that may say Sabani take a decision and amount for complaining about the idea. More nese mujina hotimi catch president they say this is not the direction the party wants the government to go.
Right.
And I say na amount for neka.
Okay.
Eti obi betuma aka say well say wantumi anya saa ana say wo ye yempo na antumi anya effective ama change ama de a and then the blame a ye dey ma Akufo-Addo no ana ye dey be ma President Mahama no wo a we general secretary ana wo a we chairman na we national officer no you are equally your friend say liable to that and I say wo so yetimi amount that blame.
Right.
Sana me mekano. As you say,
right.
Specific to NDC MPP media, and for the politicians in the MPP to take that decision.
Okay. Honorable Dr. EMMANUEL MARFO, Nhyira.
Nhyira also.
A former member of Parliament of OFORIKROM and NDC. Happy birthday to Ordene Hokwe